for everybody out there, for all the entrepreneurs, sales professionals, marketers, or everybody who actually have their own business, big or small. I think the responsibilities of having a business and the responsibilities to being a father are very, very kind of identical. Episode number 7 of Imparables. Today we'll be talking about parenting and entrepreneurship. How is it? How can we do it? And what is the best tips to actually have a successful relationship with both? So check out our content, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at ludusmastery.com. So let's start. So there's a lot of similarities in between being a parent and being an entrepreneur. In my case, I have 3 kids. And I've been an entrepreneur around probably 13 years. So it's been really challenging. My first kid, my daughter, born when I was 21 years old. And I used to start my sales career at that point, right? And I was never, during the years, I was more time not in my house. I was not spending time with them. My second son born 4 years after. And I understand when he was 2 or 4 years old how important for me was to be there. So all the tips that we're gonna see today, actually I learned it from experience. But most important, I learned of what not to do and what is important for you to have that strong bond between you and your kids. Right now, my kids and I have a really good relationship. Well, that's what I want to think about. I'm sure they think the same. But the most important is that they know who I am. And I know who they are. And that's the whole spectrum of this. How much you are yourself with them and how much they are with you is what we're gonna try to figure it out in this podcast of Imparables, number 7. All right, so welcome back. So there is a lot of similarities in between a parent and between an entrepreneur. So you think about it, it's like 2 sides of the same coin, right? Because being an entrepreneur is nothing like being a good leader. And when do we start to be a good leader? In parenting. So think about this. You start being a good leader when you start being a parent. For everybody out there, for all the entrepreneurs, sales professionals, marketers, or everybody who actually have their own business, big or small. I think the responsibilities of having a business and the responsibilities to being a father are very, very kind of identical. First of all, we have to manage 2: time for our business and time for our kids. Sometimes we feel guilty to not put the time in one side or the time in the other side, right? Put the time in our business relationship or putting the time in our parenthood relationship. What I will suggest, or what normally I have learned, is that if you are committed 100% at the time when you are at your work, with the time when you are with your team, at the time that you are with your talent, when you go home, when you go with your kids, when you go with your other relationships, right? You can give 100% to them and not be thinking about, oh, I didn't do this. Oh, I forgot to actually finish the project. So tip number 1, please prioritize your time. Give 100% of what you're doing at the time that you are doing, and you will feel completely free and you're going to be completely present at the time of work and at the time of being with your son, daughter, or kids. Tip number 2, and this is a lot about discipline and a lot about organization. You have to be organized. You have to control your calendar. Cannot let your calendar control you, right? It's many things that we come to the office and start doing everything together. We have meetings, we have shootings, we have to do talks, we have to train, we have to coach, or maybe you have a difficult conversation with someone. And when you don't have a schedule, when you don't have a pre-plan of what are you going to do, the hour times hour, another hour comes back, and then you get to 8 o'clock at night you did everything but the time that you were planned with your kids. So most important, have your calendar ready, pre-planned, right? Pre-plan what are you gonna do, pre-plan what's the best time for your kids, the best time for having those conversations. And look, your team or your talent have to understand that. Sometimes we are all the time for everybody. And so and that's impossible, and everybody has their life. So what I would suggest is strongly have your calendar completely controlled. Try to plan ahead what you're gonna do with your kids. Try to plan ahead what you're gonna do with your talent, the difficult conversations. Because what you wanna do in the end is don't be completely drawn of energy once you go back home, once you talk to your kids. So please control your calendar. Don't let your calendar control you. The next one is communicate expectations. It's very, very important you are completely clear with your team, with your talent, if you are a sales professional, with your client, if you are a boss or you are actually doing your own business, what you expect from people that is working with you. If you are outsourcing, if you are working with someone in a really close range, it's very important to sign the deadlines, to sign the expectations of what you want, so it doesn't create further harm, further conversations that then we have to fix. So time for you when you are a partner and entrepreneur is your best ally. So it's how you allocate those times, how you allocate those expectations with your talent, what is going to help you put those expectations towards you. Because in the end of the day, what is the expectation that you have as a father? Right? When you go to your kids, when you go to your family, what is the expectation that you have from them? But what the most important is what they expect from you. Remember, kids doesn't communicate with words. Kids most likely communicate with quality time that you spend with them, with the energy that you actually spend with them. So please communicate your expectations. What do you want from your team? What do you want from your work? So you actually can have that time completely available for your kids and family. Next one is schedule your time in a better manner. We talk about how to have your calendar, but you have to schedule the times, leaving times for other things that might happen. So for example, you never know when you're gonna have an emergency. So when you make those meetings with important clients, for all the sales professionals out there, right? If you are scheduling a meeting, leave time for emergency. You never know what's going to happen. You never know when you're going to go and pick up the birthday cake for your son or daughter. You never know if the game, the soccer game or the football game or the baseball game is going to be delayed. So please leave that little time for emergencies, because it's going to pay off a lot in the end. Last one, but not least important, I think is my favorite, and it's energy saving. You have to save your energy for what is important to you. You have to save your energy. You cannot drain all your energy giving to everybody else and don't give it to your kids, right? How I was saying before, kids do not communicate with words. Kids communicate with energy. And the better energy that you have, the most calm, the most assertive energy that you have for them, is how they're gonna communicate. If you teach them, if they are completely radicals and they are very, very crying and having a tantrum, the best for you is to have a calm energy. You don't want to be stressed. You don't want to be impatient, because that's what they need. They need the calmness. They need the leader of the pack at that point is you, to actually pass that tranquility to them. So be completely conscious. How do you spend your times before seeing your kids? Who you are spending your time, but the most important, how much are you giving to others? Right? There is nothing better to give to yourself to give to your loved ones. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Imparables. It's very important. Being a parent, being an entrepreneur is two sides of the same coin. Just remember, have the time and the energy for it. Thumbs up if you like it. If you don't like it, thumbs down. But if you enjoy our original content, don't forget, check us out on our social media. See you in the next one.